What's up, team? It is MurderInc here on the test server for Raid Shadow Legends, talking about what could quite possibly be the next meta game changer for the arena overall, all the way from the top of Platinum to the bottom of, well, of course you have to get lucky because we're talking about a legendary champion, Shadowkin faction defense-based Harima. Now, what makes this champion so special? I want to think about Ultimate Death Knight for a second, what he did to single target champions. Now take a look at this passive here. I'm skipping the A1, A2, and A3, and let's just look at this. Enemy ignored defense effects are decreased by 50%. Now, with the addition to Stone Skin, one of the, I guess, defining factors in an offense team prior to Stone Skin, prior to Reaction, is the fact that you could never build a champion that could outlive an AoE nuker, because Savage was so strong. Now we have Empowerment that's crazy strong on top of blessings that just make the game a nightmare. So this champion comes in and takes the ignore defense effect and cuts it straight in half, right? So this opens up a lot of things. You could be thinking, okay, now it's not going to be as effective for raw damage, so it's going to be more reliant on bombs. What makes bombs so good? The fact that players are using Stone Skin gear. So if you have this champion on your team, you could potentially just not wear Stone Skin gear, use this instead because it has zero side effect, right? So picture Stone Skin, but it doesn't suffer from the bomb debuff. That's kind of what this passive is doing, and of course to a much lesser effect than Stone Skin, because that's a very OP damage reduction set. So I'm really curious to see what some of these smarter minds for Arena in this game are going to do with this, specifically my clan for sure, since they've been dominating the arena forever. It's going to be quite interesting, but potentially quite annoying, because as it already is, arena battles take a long time. So adding a champion like this, making your nukers effectively much worse because of how strong Savage gear is paired with Cruel gear, if you can even get the gear, and then taking off of Stone Skin so you can't go for the quick bomb wins anymore. We are looking at what could be a pretty sizable shakeup with this one champion alone. But what do the other skills do? Let's go over it really quickly. Attacks all enemies, place provoke for 1 turn. The debuff can't be blocked or resisted if the target's from Demon Spawn, Duchess, Kymar, the other guy, Candy, Candrafin. So this is strong, right? Duchess and Kymar are pretty common in the arena, especially the higher you get. So this is pretty strong since it can't be blocked or resisted. Next, we have an A2 here. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit decreases the target's defense by 5%, stacking up to 30, so it will stay, but it instantly activates Celestial Awe if it kills the target. So that is of course the A3 we just went over. But being honest with you, based on how strong the passive is, probably not going to be building this champion for damage, because once this champion dies, because this is a pretty important champion to keep alive based on the passive as well as the A3. So while it does have a decreased defense and increased defense effect on this champion on the A2, I still think the main focal point of this is going to be the passive as well as the A3 if anything. Moving on to the A1, 50% chance of placing attack down for 2 turns, also giving this champion a 25% chance of placing the attack down on all other enemies for 2 turns if it's a crit. Would you build crit? Probably not. You just chance it and see if you did get a crit, then it would be applying the AoE attack down. So interesting. How would we build this? I kind of went back to what the meta used to be, right? 3 pieces of reaction and then a swift parry set. Maybe not speed, because her going and getting a turn isn't that important since it's possible. Players are still going to be using Stone Skin into a team like this, but it's going to be up to the endgame arena players who do this every single day. Used to be me, definitely not anymore. But with that being said, I kind of want to go into the arena and let's find some hard-hitting AoE champions. So we have a +3 Candrafin here. We have Smiley, who I know is going to have insane gear. We have Hell Hades with a +4, so it's kind of between these two. I guess we can attack them both here. So let's go ahead and see how much damage we take with this. We can kind of do a before and after, right? So of course it's going to be a variance in the amount of damage we take here. Let's just go ahead and stack this and make this as tanky as possible. Should we even give a condition for killing? I guess, you know, why not, right? What's the worst that could happen? I could lose. Is that all? Yes. So with that being said, I think this is looking pretty decent. Let's just send it. Let's see what Smiley's Candrafin is going to do to this team here. Let's get a look at some of the numbers. Of course, this is the test server, so there's some issue here with the coding that went through. Okay, so we're taking a bit of damage here. Ursuga's almost dead. Everyone's dead on that second hit. There's the unkillable proc. Now, one thing to note is, as good as Savage is going to be, this is a perfect example right here. You still have to think about and be smart about how you build your team, right? Just because he's doing that, if you're facing a team like Smiley's Cupidus here, Cupidus pumps, especially his. We know he has very strong gear. So is this going to finish it? Okay, so that finished it off pretty quickly. Now let's see. Okay, 56 seconds is how long we lasted, and Ursuga has no gear. Okay, so you know what? We're just going to keep the no gear Ursuga. I was kind of curious why she died so quickly, but it is what it is. Now we're going to take this champion out, and we're going to put in someone like, I guess, right? Doesn't add any survivability, so let's see how much faster we lose, if we even do lose faster, whilst having no, I guess, savage deterrence here. Okay, a little bit of this. I mean, we have defense down weaken on everybody. I believe we still had it last time. Okay, that was a one shot. Last time we didn't get one shot. So, I mean, it's a pretty large difference, right? And as far as the amount of damage we're taking, so having a champion that has that much of a sway just from a passive, granted it does take up an arena slot, but I don't know, there's just so much you can do with this, and I'm very curious to see what other people come up with and figure out with. If they do pull this new champion, I'm getting the champion to +4, +5, and I guess, does Mortu even win this? I don't think Mortu wins this, does he? No, I think he's Hex now. He's going to lose this turn here. Maybe we get a revive and things are looking good. If we can get Hefrak back up, we destroy Smiley. Surely. Buff removal. Okay, block revive. Yeah, I mean, listen, Mortu's just OP here. There definitely was some RNG on this side, but I wouldn't say the champion's awful because I won without the champion and I lost while using the champion. The point really was to show the damage numbers. The fact that Ursuga survived even with no gear against someone like Smiley's Cupidus is kind of crazy. It really is kind of crazy when you think about it. And then as soon as we got rid of that, everything was fine. So there's just so much going on for this champion. And I mean, this is more so tuned to defense. And of course, this would be a very solid defensive win here. But fact of the matter is, this new champion is going to be very, very interesting. Now, as far as where can you use this champion outside of the arena, I don't know. Maybe you guys have some suggestions, options where we could be using this champion. I don't really see it since there's not a ton of ignore defense effects in this game. Yes, you can make a point for something like the new Iron Twins dungeon if you are struggling with it, but is 50% decrease really going to be enough based on the overkill effects you do see if you don't build a proper team? That question is going to be very account specific for sure, and I personally don't believe so, because once you start getting below, 30% health in the Iron Twins and he starts doing his hard hitting attack, if you have enough stacks, I don't even think 50% decrease on the ignore defense is going to save you personally. So there's definitely potential based on individual account for the Iron Twins, but outside of that, I really don't see it. This is going to be a heavily arena-oriented champion for sure, just because of how strong this passive is. With no strings attached, you can build her however you want because the passive doesn't require anything to kind of get rolling here, and it could have the potential to lower the value of Savage gear, meaning you would have to rebuild your champions, which kind of sucks because we've been farming Savage for, 2 years now? So I don't know. Interesting champion. I think it could be very strong. I'm not going to go over how to build this champion at masteries. It's way too early. There hasn't been enough testing, and we've only had these champions for, 12 hours, 18 hours. So much more will be figured out with this champion for sure. So that's going to conclude this video. Let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next upload.